Hello, calm mamas. I am going to give this a minute. Hopefully we'll have some people join us today. I'm going to tag some people. So say hi as you're jumping on so I can make sure that I am actually live and that things are working. And just give me another minute here. Not seeing anybody, so I'm not sure if I'm just not live or if nobody's just here, which is okay. It happens. Well, let me just check because I don't want to not be live. Yesterday it was really screwy, so hopefully it's not too screwy right now. Okay, it looks okay. Cool. Well, okay. Start fresh here. So today is day 4 of the 12 Days of Christmas Spirit event that I have going on in this group. So if you missed the other days, feel free to just ask for a tag. I can tag you in it, or you can go into the events, past events, and find them there as well. There will be 8 more days as well, going through the rest of this week and next before Christmas. So today I am going to talk about mom guilt. This is a really common theme in the questions that I get asked. We've probably all experienced mom guilt. And ever since I shifted kind of what I'm focusing on in this group, to the mom entrepreneurs, the business owners, the work at home moms, etc. I get asked even more often how to manage mom guilt. So I have, as always, several things that I do, ideas that I can give, and so on. So first of all, I want to be really clear here. I also get mom guilt, still to this day. It happens, even though I know it's not necessary. So, but I don't get it as often anymore. And that's partially because I have found balance. I have intentionally put things and pieces into place in my life so that I have more balance. And part of it is also because I have the tools that I use that I will talk about today. So again, just as people join us here, just make sure you say hi as you jump on, just so that I know that everything is working. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, we're talking about mom guilt today, and I'm going to talk about awareness as a cure for it. So, mom guilt, like many things, is, as far as I've experienced in all of my 11 years as a mother, is not something that's ever going to go away. So we need to learn to deal with it. We need to learn to manage it, to cut back on it so that it's not happening as often, through prevention, and then also how to deal with it in the moment when it happens, so that we are not suffering and struggling. So the first thing, the most important thing that I want to talk about today is a mindset shift. And for those of you who don't do a lot of mindset work, this might be a little bit tricky, but it's literally just reframing your thinking. So you just are becoming more aware of the thought processes that you have. You're becoming more aware so that you can then choose differently in the future, kind of thing. So one question I get fairly often is, how much attention is too much attention for kids? Because we all feel like we need to constantly pay attention, right? So my answer to that, there's no set amount per child. There's no like time that I can tell you that is going to be the perfect amount and work for everybody and be the be all end all of answers for this. But when they start demanding your time and they're not enjoying your time when you are together and when you are being present with them, then you're spending too much time. You're giving them too much attention. And what happens when you give them too much attention is that then they become incapable of enjoying themselves without your attention, right? And that is not manageable for anybody. And I know that there are lots of moms who suffer and struggle with mom guilt, even though they're giving like every minute of every day. And it's just like, they just can't give enough. And that's because they're giving too much. Kind of a cold, hard truth bit there. But so if they're demanding it from you, if they're not being pleasant, if they're not enjoying it, they're getting too much attention. And now I'll put a little caveat on that. I don't believe personally that you can give babies too much attention. But as they get a little bit older and they start to become a little bit more self-sufficient, they have to learn, even as babies, how to do this so that they can progress throughout each stage and become more self-sufficient as they get older. So without being cruel, obviously, without making them suffer too much, you do want even your infant to be able to be set down, right? You can't hold them 24/7. It's not reasonable. It's not healthy. So obviously you want to respond to babies. But when it comes to the amount of attention for young children, it varies a little bit more. And it does depend on the child and on how they're reacting to it. If they're grateful for it and they're enjoying it and they're sweet and it's great, then usually it's also more fulfilling for you. You're going to enjoy it more and you'll be able to handle it more. So that one is a little bit more difficult and would be more of like a case-by-case basis for me to give you like specific answers about that one. Another question I get is, how much stimulation do we need to provide versus allowing their creativity to flow? So this one is huge for the mindset shift. The more creativity, the better, right? It's the more that you can do. Now, sometimes obviously young children need us to stimulate their creativity. They need us to give them like a starter idea, right? But actually allowing their creativity to flow instead of directing everything is really important for their development. It is for their best interests. So I kind of have two answers to this one. And one is that most kids these days are provided with too much stimulation and they start to actually lose the skill of being creative and using their imagination and being able to self-soothe, I guess. That's not the word I'm looking for, but you do want them to be a little bit self-sufficient. It is really important. It's really good for their growth, for their sense of self and all of it. So we want to make sure that we're not overstimulating, that actually takes away from them and their development. So that's really important. The second thing that I always would say about that is just keeping in mind that not only kids need stimulation. So it's not like there are two pieces in your day, and one is providing stimulation and being present for your kids, and the other being working. You know, you need to have more of a balance than that. And so when I say we need some stimulation as well, that just means, you know, we need fresh air as much as they do. We need to stop looking at screens just as much as they do. We need to be creative and explore our creativity and all of that. So with this one, you want to kill two birds with one stone. You want to get out and get fresh air together. You want to get creative together, do crafts, do, you know, Play-Doh or paint, you know, just, and you don't have to be good at it. Your kids are not going to care. If you're good at what you're doing with them, they're going to care that you're doing it with them. And so it's going to provide you with the stimulation that you need to then have the focus later. And this is really key, especially if you struggle with ADHD or ADD, which is definitely something that I struggle with. And I know that a lot of the moms that I talk to as well, for themselves and for their kids, get outside, get some exercise, get creative, super important. And the second thing that I want to talk about is, and this is really my best tool for mom guilt, for overcoming it, is journaling. And I know I talked about journaling a lot yesterday, but what I didn't cover was the awareness piece. So when you spend time journaling, you get to know yourself and the reasons for everything that you do better. There are different kinds of journaling, right? So there is dumping out your thoughts. I talked about brain dumping yesterday. It's honestly one of my favorite kinds of journaling on a regular basis, just to get the things out of my head, because, you know, we all have like a million thoughts going in our heads. Another one is just to record memories. And that is like where you keep a daily journal where you actually just like keep track of what happened in your day and have something to be able to go back to. If you're the type of person that's going to go back, that's a really great thing to do. Then there is self-discovery and self-awareness kind of journaling. And this one is so helpful. You ask yourself questions. You ask, you know, things like, why do I feel this way about something? Why did I react the way that I did? You ask whatever the question is that's applicable, and then you just write. And you write everything that comes into your mind. You don't edit it. And you will start to really get to know yourself a lot better this way. Every time that you do it, you will get to know yourself better, and you'll be a little bit more aware of yourself and how you work and why you work the way that you do. Not everybody, and if this is something that you do on a regular basis, this might seem kind of like a duh thing to you. But not everybody digs into themselves this way and gets to know themselves better. And I definitely didn't used to. So this was a new thing for me, which is why I'm sharing it. So, you can start to understand better why things happen. So that you can then make different choices in the future, and you can be more aware of the beliefs that you have, and then you can dig in even farther and figure out why you have those beliefs. And sometimes all it takes is to become aware of a limiting belief in order to just release it and just be like, well, that's dumb. I'm going to let that go. Sometimes it takes a little bit more work than that, but sometimes that's all it takes. And just taking that time makes a huge difference. So all of that said, I use self-awareness journaling, specifically for things like mom guilt. So if I ask myself, you know, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling guilty as a mom? And then I journal like this, and I just kind of keep writing until I run out of things to say, and I don't edit it. I can kind of go back and look at it and read through it, and I can see what my answer is to it, and then I can kind of dissect that answer. Pardon me, my throat's getting dry. So I can question myself again, well, is this answer true? You know, if my answer is, well, my kids just don't get enough time with me, but I spend hours every day with them, then is the thought true that they don't get enough time with me? And if I can say, well, no, it's not true. They do get lots of my time, especially compared to, you know, moms that have to go into work every day. Then I can kind of feel better myself. Sorry, my coughing is distracting me. So I can feel better about myself, about all of it. I can kind of release that mom guilt when I do that. If the answer that I wrote down is true, like, you know, I've been putting in so many hours on my business and I haven't been spending any time with my kids, or I haven't been paying attention to them, or I've been kind of pushing them off. And, you know, delay, always like later, yes, in a minute kind of thing. Then what I can do once I've realized that, when I write that down and kind of like look back at it, I can then pre-make decisions. And this is something I talk about a lot, is pre-made decisions. But I can pre-make decisions so that I can prevent it from happening again in the future. And it's really important just to keep in mind that we don't know what we don't know. So if you've never dug into it and you struggle with mom guilt a lot, you know, it's really important to realize that you maybe don't know. And that if you just do this simple tool of just journaling to get more self-aware, you might be able to realize, understand yourself better, make different choices in the future, or get okay with how you're being about something. So anyway, that is, again, it's just like yesterday's. It's a simple tool, but it's really powerful. It does just help you to release and move on past that. Or it also can help you to plan for the future so that you're preventing more mom guilt in the future. And if you are taking action to prevent more mom guilt, then it's okay to release the mom guilt. It's okay to say, okay, I didn't do great this time, but next time I'm going to do better. And now I have a plan, right? And it's really important to have a plan. So today, for the giveaway, I am going to be giving away my 30 days of journaling prompts. So yesterday was 30 days of gratitude journal prompts. Today is just regular journal prompts. And this is really for somebody who hasn't done much journaling in the past, especially not like the self-awareness journaling or the recording memories journaling, and they more just do brain dumps or to-do lists. This one is like, they're simple questions, simple prompts, but they are just to kind of get you started. So 30 days of journal prompts to get you started so that you can create a journaling habit. It's a really powerful thing to have. So that's my freebie for today. And hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully the right people see this. I've had lots of people asking questions about this. So hopefully this is reaching the right people. And let me know if you watch the replay, drop a hashtag replay. If you want the link for the journal prompts, then just drop the word journal, and I will get you that. And yeah, thanks for watching and happy holidays. And I will see you tomorrow for day 5. Bye.